U/JustOverIt_2025 shared this story with us. One reckless moment from a grandmother changed a child's life forever. Let's start from the beginning. My husband, 34M, and I, 31F, have the only grandchild on his side of the family. His mom, my MIL, has always been a lot. From crying the day before our wedding to saying things like I'm just not warm and fuzzy enough for her. Tension has always existed. I've tried my best to be welcoming and accommodating, but things got even more complicated when they moved states and bought a house just 10 minutes from us. My son, 3.5M, is the center of his grandma's universe. He used to be my husband's main focus. My husband had complained for years about abandoning his mom when he moved out. And to her credit, she has been incredibly helpful, taking him to doctor's appointments, watching him when he's sick, and even helping with our dog during hospital visits. However, my son has an immunocompromised system with ongoing health issues. He receives monthly infusions and requires careful monitoring. Here's where things went wrong. My MIL has HSV, herpes simplex virus, commonly known as cold sores. My husband and I have had over 8 conversations with her, explicitly stating she is not to have her mouth anywhere near my son's skin. No kissing, no shared straws, no utensils. Despite this, she has repeatedly broken this rule. 3 weeks ago, she came over with an active cold sore and gave him a raspberry on the cheek. I immediately told her this was unacceptable. Sure enough, 3 days later, my son woke up inconsolable, complaining of lip pain. Within 2 days, it became clear he now had HSV. Tests with his specialist confirmed it. While HSV is common, my son's case was completely avoidable. For someone immunocompromised, the virus can be worse, more painful, and cause serious complications. We told my MIL in a calm manner what happened and that we needed space. The very next day, she showed up unannounced, let herself in while my husband was working, and demanded to speak with him. She refused to accept any responsibility, claiming she kissed him on the neck, which wasn't true. And even if it were, it still violated our rule of no mouth on his skin. My husband calmly asked her to leave. I am heartbroken for my son. Now he faces lifelong risks, possible outbreaks, ongoing monitoring, and additional medical procedures. Everything she did was reckless and selfish, and being helpful does not excuse putting my child's health at risk. So here's my question. Am I wrong for wanting to completely cut ties with my MIL? I'm exhausted from her passive-aggressive behavior, repeated boundary violations, and emotional manipulation. Update. I do acknowledge some of my own fault in letting this happen despite all the warnings. Without her help, managing appointments and work has been challenging, and we're nearly out of PTO. Since this incident, she has sent multiple texts pleading to see our son. My father-in-law also confronted my husband, saying, "You don't understand what this is doing to my MIL," and hinting it was my fault. Recently, my MIL showed up unannounced again, tried to enter the house, and stayed outside for 30 minutes until leaving. Thankfully, we changed our door code. Interestingly, our son hasn't once asked about his grandparents. While we struggle with the loss of our support system, he seems completely unaware. We are emotionally exhausted. The guilt is heavy, but each new boundary violation makes it harder to consider resuming contact. Looking at this from a psychological perspective, I think what we're seeing is the classic struggle between attachment and safety. Humans crave connection, especially from family, but when someone repeatedly violates boundaries, especially in a situation where a child's health is at risk, our instinct shifts from nurturing that bond to protecting ourselves and our loved ones. Even if guilt creeps in, the healthiest choice often lies in enforcing boundaries firmly, not letting fear of conflict put anyone at risk. Questions to think about. Would you cut ties in a situation like this? Or try to rebuild trust? Is it reasonable to expect zero mouth-to-skin contact for an immunocompromised child? How do you balance losing family help with protecting a child's health? What consequences are fair when a loved one repeatedly ignores medical rules? Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment.